This last question I have for you, now that we understand how you make the money, how you steward it, the principles behind that, talk to us about how do you invest the money after you've made it, paid your bills, saved your money. You now have this free cash flow that's left over, which is profit in your business. How do you now invest money? And if you can first start, not the type of investing necessarily, but if you can start with the accounts first, like where you first contributing dollars, then share the actual investing that you do.
Right. So I think people need to know their personality. I'm a bit impulsive in terms of like, I want to buy this. So, and it's like, I can afford it, but like, I'm just going to buy it, you know? So that's why I don't do stocks. That's my personal thing. Obviously, I'm sure, people are going to be like, but over 30 years compounded, it's better than real estate or this or that. And they're probably right, you know? But I know for a fact if the market goes down 3%, I'm like, I need to sell, like
Mm-hmm.
because I just, I always believe that I could invest more in my business and get a better return. So I think as entrepreneurs, we're not the best like investment case because we're always a little bit like egotistical. We're like, oh, the market 8%, like I'm gonna get another sales rep and they're gonna make 100 grand this year, you know? So we're willing to take more risk. We almost like seek risk sometimes because the stock market can be so passive and boring and successful long term. Sometimes we're like, nah. And again, I'm gonna probably change my mind as I feel like I feel like my active income isn't at its full potential. So I feel like that's why I need to continue to focus on it. So I think people focus on passive income when their active income is woefully under potential. As you
Correct.
mentioned, somebody might be, in an industry for 15 years and like they're making 7 grand a month before taxes and they're focused on, oh, but like I need passive income. It's like, but your active income is nowhere near what it could be. So
Yeah.
that's where I feel like that's why I'm not a big investor. And yeah, I have a rental and I have a house and like again, I save a lot of money. But I don't feel like I'm like a heavy investor because I feel like I could take that money, either leave it in cash or invest in my business to then grow my active income more. Or maybe I'm making investments in my business now that won't really pay off for the next year or two, but it's going to grow my active income then. So I feel like the entrepreneur, like entrepreneurial person is not the person to get investing advice from whatsoever. But from a mindset perspective, you want to max out your active income, in my opinion. Once you're like, hey, like this is the best it's ever going to get, then I would say, okay, then you need to really study investing and whatever that looks like for you. But I feel like my active income isn't near its potential. So I think that's why I just focus on that.
Okay, and I don't want to devalue this because I often hear other entrepreneurs like kind of talk like that. It's like we're kind of devaluing what we're doing because it's not the norm. But if we were to actually look at your P&Ls from the first year in business to now, and you look at what is Alex's rate of return based off of how much money he's put in, contributed into the business, and we look at year over year growth, year over year, how much money you put in versus how much money is coming out. I would argue, I would be willing to bet that your rate of return is in the triple digit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is personal in my experience as well, where I've gotten to the point now where it's very hard for me to invest in anything outside of my business because for every dollar I have an operational expense in my business, it spits out at least 2 to 3 more dollars. So that's a 2 to 300% return on every single dollar I put into the business, triple digit. And in some cases, it could be quadruple, right? 1,000% or more. Where on earth can I get 100 to 1,000% return on my money other than a business? So I don't want to devalue this in any way and really get people to see the other side here. Like Alex first started with, you got to know yourself. If I had to summarize that, call it investor DNA. Alex knows himself. He's got the investor DNA. The very first thing you're doing is you're reinvesting back into your business. And then there's all the tax incentives that come with reinvesting in your business. So reinvesting in your business could maybe look like you buying something you may have wanted to have, or buying some kind of an asset such as real estate. And because it was done through the business, let's say there's all these tax incentives that come with it. Having, the way that you bought your house is not the way most W2 people buy their house. When you buy your house, it's coming with a home office. It's coming with the Augusta rule. It's coming with the fact that you get to offset some of your electrical costs, your internet costs, the fact that we're doing this right here in your office, the square footage of it, all of it factors in. And so it's increasing your net rate of return on your money. So I just wanted to like double
Mhm.
down on like what you're
Yeah,
doing
and I'll,
is
I'll
in
mention as
fact
well.
like much better
Yeah,
than a lot of other things.
no, that does make sense, and I'll say sometimes people just don't look at the facts. And I started my business with 4 or 5 thousand bucks, right? So even if I was a great investor and I put that in Nvidia back then, all right, 5,000 bucks might be 4,000, 5,000. I'm doing the math right now. That even if let's say I 5x'd it, like wow, 500% return, that's 25 grand, right?
Yeah,
And that's over the last almost decade. Whereas I invested the 5,000 into myself and my skills and what I'm doing, and it's made millions.
that's a flex, like that's kind of cool. Where it's
No, but
like,
but it's true. It's like if people have, but I think people think they're an investor, but it's like you don't have the money to be an investor. Like
I
if
agree.
you have $20,000 times 7% is 1,400 bucks per month. That's 116 bucks. People spend that at Chipotle these days with inflation. And I'm not trying to like say, oh wow, you only have 20,000 bucks. I'm just saying your mindset has to shift, and like maybe when you have 200,000, hey, 200,000, maybe you get 7% return, 14 grand. Hey, that's like more than 1,000 a month. You compound that, like, you double that at 7%, compounded every 7 or 8 years based on the calculators. I mean, now like you're cooking with something. I think if
Yeah.
people don't have that, then they should just focus on how do I make more, because then I can make any investing hypothetically that I do like actually worth it
Okay.
practically.
So in your case, as of right now in 2025, are you reinvesting pretty much 100% of what you make, or is there some element of investing outside of your business? Or are you just like, to your what you said earlier, you're focusing on maxing out your ability to create active income, getting to a certain number, a certain level?
I would say I'm investing almost everything back into the business. Or again, sometimes
Okay,
I'm like, I'll just keep it in cash. Like cash is an investment. People sometimes forget, like,
that's true.
just and you're earning some rate of return. It's not making money based on inflation. But if you look at any hedge fund, real estate fund, or developer, like they look at cash as it's an asset.
Yeah,
And again, you don't need to save all your money in cash, but I think at a certain point, if you feel like you've maybe maxed out your active income and you've really reached your potential, then maybe you start doing other things and taking risk elsewhere. But
cool.
I just look at, again, like my business is a risk; it's not a guarantee. So let me protect my downside so that if I have a few bad months here and there, it's an inconvenience. It's not, oh my gosh, I need to shut down my business and get a job, which is unfortunately what happens to a lot of talented entrepreneurs. They just don't give themselves the runway financially.
I agree.